Hello, everyone. Welcome to Chief Chat with our Chief Lee Gavin and Chief Dave Brogan. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. The holidays are upon us and a lot of different things going on. But first of all, talk to us about Movember. And you have something to say.
Movember. So for the month of
There's
Movember,
a reason why you did that, right?
Yes, we allow the police officers and our female officers and dispatchers, if they contribute $30, then the officers can grow their facial hair, let it be beards, mustaches, and the females, they can wear jeans to work for the week, for the month. So we collect the money. Last year we got roughly $2,000, and last year we bought hats and gloves for the local school children. So we presented them to Hillcrest. This year, what we're gonna do is we're gonna donate the money to a rehabilitation home in the city where young women go before they're released back to the streets, and they've got counselors and that. So we're going to give the money to them for the holidays, and hopefully they can put it to good use.
Well, that's a wonderful initiative. Is this something that you do every year? You mentioned last year. Is this something that's a...
Yes, we've been doing it the last 3 years, and hopefully we continue. You know, November is usually Movember with a lot of businesses, corporations, and so we let our officers grow their hair, facial hair, and they enjoy that. It's hunting season usually too, so a lot of your hunters already have their facial hair. So if they're going to grow out, we're going to get some money from them and put it to a good use.
So do a lot of the officers...
We probably get 80%
Really?
to be involved. You know, you have those few young guys and few older guys that just cannot grow facial hair, so they don't want to donate their money. You know, we have some guys been trying for 2 weeks. You can't see nothing on them. So,
do they still have to pay then?
no, they've learned the game by now. They don't pay. If they can't grow out, they're not going to be involved.
So do you guys do anything like that?
We do.
You're
We do very
nicely
similar.
shaven.
Yes. No, this is it. I haven't shaven for 2 weeks now. No. What we do is we buy T-shirts, and so and we can't grow a beard because it interferes with the seal of our masks when we wear a mask into a fire.
Right.
But they grow the mustaches a little bit longer than normal, and so we have a lot of guys that typically don't have a mustache that are growing mustaches this time of year. And we also sell shirts, and we do the same thing. We raise money and we put it into our charity fund. And the shirts are for sale, we have on-duty shirts for sale, and we also have shirts that are off, therefore the general public can buy them as well. And we do the same thing for October for breast cancer.
That's wonderful. I know you're both, and your departments are involved in a lot of charity work, and I know there was the picnic too that you had during the summer, which came out really nice. Christmas is upon us, and again, you know, a lot of issues to be addressed during that particular time. We were talking earlier, but the safety situation, and especially the shopping and packages. I think we have an issue with regards to a lot of the online shopping and packages being put on the doorsteps of homes that are being stolen. So what can we do with that?
You know what? You see that all over on the news lately.
Absolutely.
Not just our community, but a lot of communities. You'll see people have their video cameras at their house, and you know they'll see a suspect coming up to the house and taking a package. So many people nowadays order their Christmas gifts, or they do their shopping online. In FedEx, UPS delivers a package. It sits there until the resident comes home at night. So, you know, probably the best way is if you're going to order something, you know when it's going to be delivered.
Make sure you're
just
home.
Make sure you're home, or you have a family member, or maybe have the package delivered to a neighbor's house. With it sitting on the porch, it's just an invitation for someone to walk up to the porch, steal it, and they're gone.
And that over inundates the police department too, trying to deal with that kind of thing. How do you address that if someone calls and say, all my packages were stolen?
You know what? We go out and we write a police report. Usually the people have records from UPS or where they purchased it from, and a lot of times the insurance or the company will take care of it. But there's no need. Just make sure someone's home or someone's there to receive the package. If we can get video camera of a suspect and we can prove who's doing it, sure, we'll charge them. If we can come up with that.
Absolutely. And you know what? People are out there at shopping malls, you know, with packages and, you know, maybe some extra money in their purse this, you know, during that time of year. And there's been a lot of issues, not focused to Dearborn Heights, but I think, like you said, around the country in regards to, you know, different cars coming up to people, trying to lure them to the cars, and, you know, giving them all kinds of different excuses. What can we do, or what advice can we give people that are out there that maybe are not as cognizant as they should be with their surroundings? Because I mean I know I've actually seen a few things happen, and it's like, you know, you really aren't focused. You're focused on shopping and you're focused on the merry, you know, time of the year, but people are out there actually preying on those individuals. So
and that's another trend we're seeing all over the country, and every holiday we discuss it. Be aware of your surroundings. When you get out of your vehicle, make sure your doors are locked. Put your items on the floor or cover them with a towel. Don't leave anything exposed. And then when you're walking into the mall or the store, you know, be aware of your surroundings. Look around you. If you see someone that looks suspicious and you're close to your car, get back in your car. If not, try to walk as soon as you can to get closer to the store. You know, people carry a larger amount of cash than normal near the holidays to make their purchases, and people are on the pry out there. They know that you have the money. Ladies carry their purses. If you have a long dangling purse, you know, just carry a smaller purse. Keep it close to your body, around your arm, you know.
Or even sort of around your head, that way. That's,
you know, a long one with a long handle, then, you know, someone can grab it and take off running and pull you down with it. So, you know, if you come across a situation like that and someone's going for one of your purse, your handbag, you know what, try to resist, but if they're going to harm you, let it go. Money isn't worth you getting knocked down and getting severely injured. So, you know, in our city, we have the Target shopping center. That's probably our big shopping center, the Heights Center. Mm-hmm. And, you know, now and then we'll have issues. The lights sometimes aren't always working in the parking lot, and we're staying on the property owner to make sure those lights are on, and especially here with the holidays coming up. You know, we've had a few reports of people hanging around their cars and trying to lure people over to their car, maybe ask them a question. Well, what their goal is, they'll get you in between their car and another car. Nobody's going to see you. They're going to grab your purse or maybe rob you. We've had nothing specific, but let's just make sure we keep our eyes and ears open, you know, going to and from the malls, and lock your cars. We're still getting that issue within the city of people parking their cars in the driveway or in the street and not locking the doors. You know, I'll still see those reports come in. Hey, I had $500 stolen. I had a computer stolen. Lock your doors. Very few cars do we see where the windows are broken for someone to get in and steal the stuff. It's usually the doors are left unlocked. You can go down the street, pull door handles, it opens up, you take the contents, and you're on your way. Very seldom, you know, usually people have cameras, but the cameras don't have good vision in that, right, to pick up someone that far away.
Sure, and also something that I've been very cognizant about is leaving your door open with the garage door opener inside of the car, and so that's yep, tragic when somebody wants to.
We've discussed that numerous times. Everyone leaves a garage door opener. Not everyone, most people do. Someone gets in your car, there's a garage door opener. They might not go into your garage today, but tomorrow while you're working, they hit the button, bam, they're in the garage.
Right.
Most people leave that exterior door,
sure,
access door. They can walk right into your house.
Yeah,
so just be careful. It's common sense, and we all slack near the holidays. We have food and shopping on our mind, and we're not paying as good attention.
Just want to be happy, right?
Want to be happy, and that's one of the things that, you know, you're a victim of crime, and that wrecks your holiday.
Absolutely, absolutely. And again, you know, when you talk about safety inside the home, you've dealt with all this numerous times, and it's so important to know safety with trees and candles during the holiday season. So talk to us about that, and what would be your suggestion with people that want to put decorations inside and outside, basically, in the kind, you know, and sometimes people have used indoor lights outdoors as well, and that's caused some issues.
Yeah, that's happened as well. Obviously, the number one issue, and pretty much everyone has heard this over and over, and that's the Christmas tree. The reason why is because it really, really is such a hazard. A dry Christmas tree will burn so fast. Even though you might see the videos, a lot of times we'll see videos like that. I'm sure that our fine folks at WDHT may be playing one right now.
You go.
But they burn really fast, and when they burn really fast, they don't just go up. They create a tremendous amount of heat and smoke, and that makes the window of surviving a fire that much less, because the heat has been created so fast, the smoke has been created so fast, and the whole room can get to be burning just in a matter of less than a minute sometimes. So the tree, and keeping a tree watered and keeping good lights on the tree, those are the most critical pieces when it comes to your safety at Christmas time. And the people use a lot of candles during the holidays, and candles are another one that can cause fires. People forget that they're on. They actually make some really cool fake candles now that even have timers, and you can't even tell the difference. A lot of times you think that it's an actual candle.
And they have
burning.
the little flying flame too.
Yeah, it kind of flickers around and random. So there are some really, really cool looking ones that are made of real wax and everything too, that if you're just glancing, you'd think it was a real candle. So obviously those are much safer. People I know are going to burn candles. Just be extremely careful. Don't leave candles burning. People forget and have them burning all night long. Just use common sense and be very, very, very careful. You'd hate for that. A fire will ruin your holidays, and there's nothing worse than losing all of your belongings to a house fire, and obviously your own personal safety.
And the presents too underneath
of course,
it.
Yeah.
And fire extinguishers are really, really important to have in the carbon monoxide detectors too.
Carbon monoxide, and obviously smoke detectors, of course. Those are the things that are really critical.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a fire extinguisher on a Christmas tree it gets burning so fast you probably aren't going to. Unless you catch it at the very, very beginning. If a dry tree starts to burn and you run to get the fire extinguisher and come back in, it's already done. That thing's already going. You just have to get everyone to get out. Whenever you're using a fire extinguisher, if you're having to get out of the heat and smoke to try to use it, you're beyond the use of a fire extinguisher. So you use those mostly for kitchen fires, small fires, garbage can fires that are kind of contained, and you can put out in a safe manner before they really grow. A Christmas tree burns so fast. It's a terrifying thing for firemen to think of these little
absolutely
dangers in people's homes.
Absolutely. We're talking about the holidays and wanting to be happy and merry, and when you're on the road and you're in a hurry and you need to, get to somewhere, you get a little aggravated if, somebody cuts you off. But road rage seems to really be an issue these days, and I think it's, again, across the country. And I think you dealt with something very, very similar very recently. But what advice do you have for people out there, and how? I get upset sometimes, when I'm driving and somebody cuts me off, or, somebody almost hits me. You say a few words and you keep going, and, you continue your day. But some people don't have that capacity to do that, and they want to react, and, they feel like this is something that they have to deal with. What do we do with people like that? Because I see it more and more, and I see people accelerating and, purposely cutting people off just because they're upset, or they stopped abruptly. How do we address that? And what are you doing on the streets to address it?
It comes back to the individual. We'll get the calls. People say, "Hey, I was involved in a traffic altercation. This guy tried to cut me off. This lady tried to do this, that, whatever." We respond out there, but what we ask our residents is just take it with ease. I know you get upset, you get frustrated. Say a few words yourself. 1, 2, 3, calm down, something like that. If you can get a license plate, save the license plate, you can give us a call. Again, just because you have the license plate doesn't necessarily mean we can get that person. You got to ID the driver of the vehicle. Unless there's contact made between the vehicles, which thus would be an accident, accident report could be written. Just take it with a grain of salt. Don't give any facial hand gestures, nothing like that, to maybe provoke it more. Just take deep sigh relief and just continue on your way. If the altercation continues up the street, pull off, go the other way. It's not worth. Some of these people are out there nowadays just looking for these confrontations. And then if you stop, then they want to fight, then they draw weapons, produce knives, whatever it be. So it's not worth it. Don't trust the people out there. You know what, just go your own separate way after an altercation. It bothers us all. We all get mad. Policemen, firemen,
Sure.
even when we're driving in police cars. But you know what, just it's not worth the confrontation.
Right.
Just,
In the larger scheme of things, it's that moment and that's it. Either it could be part of your life and affects your life forever because of the confrontation, or you just let it go.
Right.
But I see that it's harder and harder for people to do that. But the concept of just move on, and that person is very insignificant in your life, and they're on the road. They're going to go their way, and you're going to go your way. So causing that altercation is just
not worth it.
Not worth
You
it
just
at all.
escalate the problem, and who knows what could happen. We've seen the stories over the years where people have gotten beat up, people have gotten killed, shot, assaulted, whatever it be. Just de-escalate, drive, continue driving, don't even look at that person, turn off a side street, and you know what, you'll be able to laugh about it or discuss it the next day.
Exactly, or
It's
sing
best.
a Christmas song
Yeah.
or something, right?
There you go.
Chief, we were talking earlier about a partnership that the city of Dearborn Heights is aggressively pursuing. It's something that's already in place, but you're sort of taking it to a new level in regards to servicing, different fire calls in and around the city here, and sort of expanding expanding outside of the city borders. Tell us about that, and what was it called? It was called MABUS?
Yes, well, MABUS is the Mutual Aid Box Alarm System. So
Okay.
MABUS, M-A-B-A-S. That's a statewide initiative that's been that came about in the over the past several years, and that was created to help at a really large-scale incident where all the fire departments now we have. Sometimes you'll see a Knox box on commercial buildings, which is like just a little gray box, or kind of you'll see them all over town if you're looking around.
A lockbox kind of thing?
It's
or?
a lockbox is what it
Okay.
is. And so now the fire departments have keys to a lockbox, and they can open up the lockbox, and there'll be keys to the building inside of it. Well, now fire departments have them, and we have a separate Knox box that works throughout the state to different fire stations. So
basically you have access to a fire station out in
Right.
Saginaw or
Sure.
Flint or...
Right. So we can go anywhere, from the UP, or we could be going to Westland. We're going to cover one of their stations because they're all tied up on a larger incident, and now we can get into their station, and they'll have a book set up for us so we can operate help cover that city and help all of us work together in a large-scale incident. So that's, we've all created box cards, it's called. So we have a box alarm is the traditional term for you've heard a second alarm or third alarm fire. A first alarm is a box alarm. That goes back to, do you remember seeing the red fire boxes?
Sure.
So they would pull those, and it would send to the local fire station a certain code, and it would say box number 212, and they say, oh, box 212, and they know on the map where 212 is, and all the firemen will go to that location if someone saw a fire. So that's how they'd say we have a box alarm.
It's a locator, basically.
Yeah, well, that's how the term began. Now it's just if you have a box alarm, that's a first alarm fire. So if they say give me the box, or that's traditional fire department lingo. So on our first box, what's recommended by NFPA is to have 16 firefighters,
Right.
and we only have 12 firefighters on duty.
So it's 16 regardless of the severity of any fire. You still need
Of any house
16
fire, you need
house
16
fires. Okay.
firefighters to handle it safely. And there was many studies that came up with that number. Some departments have like Detroit has 21 people show up to a house fire on a box. That's what it's called. On a first alarm, they'll have 21 firefighters. A lot of bigger cities that have larger staffs will have that many people show up. We have 12 firefighters on duty every day. Prior to just 2 years ago or 3 years ago, we only had 10 firefighters on duty, and that's how many we brought to a fire. And so we felt that's the most that we can give you, and so that was
Right.
what we did, and we've operated, really well that way. But our guys get beat up. They'll go through 4 or 5 air bottles at a fire. It's very physical, straining work, and if someone's hurt, now we lose 2 of those guys as they're transporting someone else to the hospital. There have been a lot of studies on what it takes to save a firefighter who's become trapped inside of a fire. and you usually need 6 to 8 firemen to rescue one down firefighter. That's been the national standard as well. So based on all of these different statistics, they came up with a minimum of 16 firefighters. And so we just felt, well, we don't have 16 firefighters, and most fire departments don't have that many on duty on a day.
Especially the smaller
Yeah, Garden
cities.
City has 1 station, Inkster has 1 station, Wayne has 1 station, Redford has 2 stations. They're staffed like us. Taylor has around the same staffing as us. Dearborn's a little larger, Livonia, Westland, but anyways, most departments don't have that many. So by using this, our existing mutual aid agreement, and by using our MABUS box alarms, we're going to try to create response areas that will get us 16 firefighters at any fire. So what this means to a resident in Dearborn Heights is if you have a fire now, because of the system that we've created, or that we're making the best use of now, a house in Dearborn Heights will get 16 firefighters, and along with that, 2 ladder trucks. So that's an enormous advantage to a citizen now, and a citizen doesn't care what city it says on the side of the truck. They want the people there to help get them out, keep them safe, save their property, and that's the number to keep our firefighters safe as well. And what we're doing in return is we're responding to these cities on their box alarms, and so our firefighters are going out to more fires. We were at a fire in Inkster, I think 4 or 5 nights ago. Now we had a fire last night here in Dearborn Heights, and we had Garden City and Inkster responding into that fire. So it's worked really well. It's a concept that for the last 10 years or so, Westland, Inkster, Garden City, and Wayne have been working together. And at that time, our manpower was already stretched to the max, and kind of everyone was stretched to the max. And we felt we needed to concentrate solely on Dearborn Heights, and we weren't comfortable leaving our city to go to other fires. Now, as things have kind of stabilized, not just with our manpower, but the surrounding community's manpower has gotten a little better as well. So they'd be more reliable for us to call for help. We're in a good position now to start this really aggressively working together. So everyone in the area, my goal is to have everyone in Western Wayne County have 16 people show up to a fire like NFPA recommends.
What about if you had 2 different
fires at once
within the same city?
Right. Now that's happened to us. It's kind of our fires have generally gone down as well, and so that's been another good reason. So we're not going to just hire more firefighters and have 16 firefighters.
Because people are watching the show and heeding your advice. That's why.
That's right. That's right. We've got our fires down from all the fire education. Right
there you go.
But it's just. So for us to have
2 fires.
Yeah, two fires at once. We've had 2 fires. That's happened from time to time, and that's what the mutual aid system was built for. If we have all of our firefighters at one fire, then you can get surrounding communities to respond to that fire quickly.
So you can call in more than one city to come into your city.
Oh, absolutely, yes. And that's really what mutual aid was built for an unusual event, kind of an overflow. And what we're doing is just making a more aggressive use of it for an everyday fire to get the proper amount of people there. And when you do that, we can clear a fire a lot faster. And we were at a fire in Inkster about a month ago, and another fire in Dearborn Heights came in, and they had it knocked down so fast. The guys in Inkster said, "Hey, we could clear half these guys out of here and go with you to that other fire." And we didn't need them. We ended up going. It was a smaller fire. We handled it on our own. But having all of our guys working together, they're more familiar with the way that each department works, and we just did a big training exercise actually where we were all working together, and we were making sure because we have different air tanks, for example. So we wanted to make sure that we could use all the universal adapters. If a Dearborn Heights firefighter is trapped, and a Westland or Inkster or Garden City firefighter is trying to save them, and there's means of filling up their air bottle again, well, we had to make sure that we could do that with all the,
They adapted each other.
Yeah, it was a great, it was something with the Hanover homes that we bought. We did a really aggressive, it's called a RIT training, a Rapid Intervention Team training. And it was good for the officers. We're not accustomed to managing 16 firefighters for all the departments, and it was good from that standpoint, as well as working together as a team and making sure all of our equipment was compatible.
Well, that sounds amazing. I mean, when you have partnerships all doing the same thing and being able to get resources from different areas, I mean, it's common sense. It makes a
and I compliment you, Chief, that you guys are doing this.
Absolutely.
We've been working with our law enforcement neighboring partners for the last 40 years, so I'm glad to see the firemen are on board.
We're finally coming along.
Well, that was a compliment with with a message in there. Chief Gavin, there's been some phone calls talking about safety once again coming in that we've had quite a bit of in Dearborn Heights regarding some anonymous calls saying that, you know, your relative, your son, your daughter, you know, whomever is being incarcerated and you need to send, you know, whatever ransom or money to get them out to a certain address within the city of Dearborn Heights. Now, this has been proven to be a scam, so can you tell us about that and what people need to do when they receive a phone call like that?
Yeah, we're continuing to get those complaints where people, not just in Dearborn Heights, but around the country, get a phone call, say, hey, your relative, son, daughter, grandchild is in jail or in need of financial help, and they'll give you an address to send money to, and they've been going to vacant homes in our city. And we've got about 10 of those cases so far. So we're just asking our residents, if it happens and someone calls you, do not send any money, you know, anything cash, money-wise, through the mail. These other incidents that I discussed.
They're sending cash?
They're sending cash. We had one almost $10,000 someone sent to a vacant home in our city, and then the money's picked up by these bad people. And these are people from around the country, not just in Michigan. So we're trying to work on that, wondering why are they contacting these people outside of our state and they're sending it here. So, you know, it might be a local group, and they're using our addresses, but we're still working on that. But we just ask, especially during the holiday, if somebody call you and ask you to send money, one of your relatives, a loved one is in trouble financially or in jail, you know, call that local police department and see if anyone's there.
Absolutely. So call you if somebody gets this.
Call the police department
call.
and, you know, check in with us.
I know we only got a couple minutes, but there was a few things that I wanted to really cover quickly. I know there's an investigation right now with the FBI about an abandoned firearm and some kind of information with our local churches. Now, we've sort of come up with the concept, or the investigation has actually said that there's no imminent threat to any churches or anybody within our city or surrounding areas. Is that correct?
As a result of that, with the firearm being found, you know, we turned the case over to the FBI, and through their investigation, through the evidence, you know, at this time, there's been no assessed credible threats. It's appearing it's most likely maybe some type of a civil dispute. So
nothing to be
there's no threat
about
to our community or any local churches.
And I know that you wanted to mention really quick the parking situation on the side streets and the buses and school days. So we're going to get that in real quick.
Again, real quick, stress, we ask our residents, when you're parking in front of your house, stagger the vehicles. We're having issues with school buses where you park in front of your house and a neighbor parks in front of their house, and there's not enough room for the buses and some larger vehicles to get through. We ask that you pull in your side view mirrors, so there's room. We've had a few buses cannot get through, and then they got to back up. And with the winter coming and the snow,
right.
The plows don't get the snow as close to the curb, and then you're parked even further into the roadway. So before we get to heavy snow, we ask our residents just kind of staggering the parking. If a neighbor's in one spot, just try to stagger your vehicle so other vehicles can get through.
Absolutely, and be cognizant, especially where the buses pick up and drop off the kids.
Bus routes.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, gentlemen, very much for another issue of Chief Chat, and I'm sure this was amazing information for all our viewers. We've also suffered a loss within our community. Judge Leo Ferran, may he rest in peace. He was an amazing citizen, an amazing judge, and really a phenomenal individual. So we hope that you keep him and his family, his family in your prayers, and may he rest in peace. Thank you, gentlemen, again for joining us on Chief Chat, and we'll see you next time.